let's get into some of the other targets that you want to talk about. So, like, for your list, if you guys don't understand, this man has the inside journal of targets that you should be watching on your Twitter. We're gonna call it the list. The list. Hashtag Zim's list. I think let's get that started on Twitter. But Zim, just talk about your list and some of the potential targets that the Bengals could be looking at in free agency.
So when we would do some of those mocks, I was just going with guys that I like. People that are close to the team, people that have played with the team, people that are currently on the team, different people that I talk to that I love to death for trusting me. Shout out to you guys. But they kind of gave me like, these are the guys that I think that they're going to talk to. These are the guys I've even had confirmation. Like, these are some of the guys that I know that they've already talked to. These are the guys that I think that they wanted before. So I factored all that in and I came up with a list. As we've been recording, Hassan Reddick fell off the list because I thought Hassan Reddick with Hendrickson would be like, you talk about like, a lot of people fell off the defensive train and said, let's just get offensive line. But I kept on saying like edge. And to me, Hassan Reddick and Hendrickson and then Sam Hubbard rotating with that, going inside, outside. Then you got the ascending talent of Kareem, Khalid. Like then adding that to the thing, and then say you restructure Geno, come back with a healthy Geno, you re-sign Mike Daniels. You come back with that and Tupou, that's a defense, bro. And then the linebackers, yeah, you're betting on a lot of them ascending as well, too. Maybe you go back and get another guy that you like this year, too. But, I mean, Pratt showed you some in some of these games. So, when you go through the roster, that's how I came up with Hassan Reddick, Alden Smith, Hendrickson, Melvin Ingram. Melvin Ingram is the last person on my list with Alden Smith. Those two that are still there. I hit on Hendrickson. So I sent 2 out of 4. So I did hit that. So I'm looking good to a certain extent. I'm starting to get nervous and I'm sweating as we're recording this Wednesday night. Alden Smith is still there. The only problem with Alden Smith is I don't think that's a Zach Taylor type of guy. Melvin Ingram, I kind of worry about the fit. That's why I was so glued. I was locked in on Reddick. And I was like, dog, they're going to win over free agency with that signing. It didn't happen. He signed for $8 million. That's it. Coming off of 12.5 sacks. So Carl Lawson, like, go look at Carl Lawson's production this past year. Go look at Hassan Reddick. Now, granted, Hassan Reddick had never done it before, but they had never put him in a full-time role like that. Another thing that somebody pointed out to me, too? Akeem Davis-Gaither. Maybe they asked him to change up his role and start getting to some more pass rush and stuff. It's a thought. He did a lot of that in college, but he's undersized for the NFL for that. But that's a guy in the limited snaps that he had, absolutely did that. Wofford is on my next part. Wofford, Wagner, Rick Wagner, Gabe Jackson, Trey Turner, Riley Reeve, and Kyle Long. Kyle Long is gone. I'm still hanging on for Wofford. I kind of put Wofford on there for you, for real. Wofford is your guy. So Wofford is there. Wagner is, as we were recording, Gabe Jackson is now off the list, but Trey Turner is one guy. Now, Riley Reeve, I was told that they wanted him before, and that's why I put him on the list. I'm told Trey Turner is a guy, just like I was told Gabe Jackson, though. That's why I'm so hurt by that. But apparently, it's very apparent that Bengals do not want to give up any draft equity whatsoever, because they gave up, the Seattle Seahawks gave up a 5th for Gabe Jackson. Blew my mind just now. Next tier, Janoris Jenkins, who I think is still a possibility if nobody...
He signed already.
Signed?
Yeah. With Titans.
Done. All right. So then Bouye, who they did come in with, right? Bouye could still happen in a world where he goes all what these guys want that I'm listening from the cornerback room is they want starting chances. A chance to start. Awuzie got his, so I hit on that. William Jackson gone. Casey Hayward, I don't think that's happening. But Bouye, who they met with before, he still hasn't, whatever. But I think I was told that when he came there, that they started doing the formalities as far as like getting ready for physicals and stuff like that. Because I think he was released, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, and I think that's why that's another thing that's kind of holding people up too, is like some of the stuff with COVID. A lot of these guys that can't get in the building for physicals, and then I hit on Hilton. So I already hit on the corner. I got Hilton and Awuzie. So I'm only really missing Riley Reef is coming into town now. So I'm gonna just go out on a limb and I'm gonna say that gets done. After that, all I need is Wofford, and I can win all the free agency. And for the first time ever, I probably will come on here and say I'm the man. Until that happens, I'm going to just say I'm just a fan, and I really love these guys, and I feel confident in my list. But if I hit on those last two guys, I'm saying if I hit on Melvin Ingram, Alden Smith, Wofford, or Trey Turner, those are my final four. If I hit on them, y'all going to hit my mouth. Y'all going to hit my mouth because I'm going to say I went off. I really went on a limb. I went on a limb and I put my whole rep on the line for this list. So I'm hitting, and I wouldn't have put it out there. That's another thing too. I know a lot of people, but Ace know me. Like, he knows people I talk to every day. It's very little times he's ever seen me put out anything that I told him in our own personal space or whatever, right?
Right.
I kind of went out on a limb for the first time ever with just the connections that I have and said, this is what I got my list. And it doesn't make me a loser if I don't hit. I get it. But it was just something that I was taking a little bit of intel, kind of stepping into a different role and saying, you know what, I'm going to try to do some behind the scenes stuff. And this is what I'm coming up with. So I feel really good about it so far. And we're going to see how it goes.
Nah, that's facts. I mean, I heard in terms of the potential people like Zimmer saying, the Gabe Jacksons, the Turners, I heard that those were definitely being discussed as well. I also heard about a couple other guys. Like, I think now that it's pretty much out there, Kenny Golladay was a guy that came up that we both had heard about earlier in terms of him. And it's just real interesting because I really want to see if they can land this guy. The wide receiver market isn't what it should be. I don't think that this was a fish that we even went into free agency even talking about. I don't even think that we even thought about him at all. But that's going to be interesting. So stay tuned on that and Riley Reef to see what the Bengals do.